Hello, everyone, and of course, wishing everyone a very happy and blessed and very, very empowered new year because this is not just another new year, this is definitely the beginning of a larger cycle in a much more relevant way than we might have experienced this beginning phase of the larger energy ever before. Don't get me wrong, this beginning energy was with us, realistically speaking, from 2017, or maybe I can't even determine it because there's so many factors to include. So, so many criteria. But let's just say the new and the beginning part, the creational part, was with us simultaneously or with the same type of presence as the, the other side of all of this, the destruction, the ending, the grand finale, the let's harvest, the conclusions, the wisdom, the lessons, all of this. Of course, that doesn't mean that this 2025 is free of the ending and the destruction, the deconstruction, demolish. No, no, it's not. Because that in itself is a longer process. Even if Pluto exited Capricorn, it is a longer process, so it's not this easy. However, because of other energies that are gonna come online in 2025, the new beginning part is becoming more and more and more predominant, real, applicable, and the other side of this, which is, I do believe, the actual good news for many um, listeners of this channel, because knowing myself is knowing you guys. You're not my listener for, any coincidental reason. We resonate with the same type of harmonics, if we necessarily have to define it that way. But um, what I want to say, for those of us who are dragged into the new, right, rather than us stepping up our game big time, for those of us, it's equally a new-ish type of year because the avalanche starts. The ending and the finale is very present. Don't get me wrong, but this is when the new, as I said, has to one way or sorry, or another become real, enter reality, enter applicability. So all of this immediately signifies the very first week of the year as well. And why? On one hand, it is highly philosophical. It really makes us think. It really makes us want to harvest any wisdom, any type of life experience that we can attach ourselves to, grip on it almost desperately, because that is the level of confusion of what am I actually living here? That's what is happening. That's the type of reality that we are in. And this, it doesn't matter who you are. Really, it doesn't matter who you are, really. Trust me on this. Everyone experiences that. Well, what am I living here, in their own way, in their own areas of life? Some are, let's say, very, very, very normal, but others are truly, what am I experiencing? Collectively speaking, well, Aquarius. Aquarius is the um base architecture of 11th house. So that means all of us looking at, for example, world politics, Aquarius politics, or our own futures in any way, shape, and form. From a very, I'm sorry, visionary, even if you wish, sci-fi nuance, to a way more realistic planning type of future. Regardless, what am I living here? What am I gonna do? What can I rely upon? And this is also where right now, and with this, I need to share something. So I'm so sorry to making this about me, but I have so much one-on-one work, client work. Although I'm not someone who has clients, and still I do. You know what I mean? I don't do this, and yet I do. So I know that this is a total dichotomy and insanity, but I'm Gemini, so Sun and Moon Gemini, and Pisces ascendant, so I'm expert at this. But anyway, it's so packed that right now I have to neglect my channel, so I'm so sorry for the horoscope, for the state of me, for all the aspects that business people, or I don't know, your typical citizens would need. What do I do with my money? What do I do with my job? But when I'm like this, though I'm not that type of astrologer, when I'm desperate of energy, well, those are things I personally cut off. So I am very, very sorry for the lack of practicality in the average citizen's life, but we are not living times where the average citizen can rest at peace, that everything's okay. So, times, certain times require certain types of horoscopes. So, anyway, all of us are thinking, all of us need to grip on something that's real or truth, or I believe or I feel strongly, because reality in so very many ways, especially mentally within our mental spheres, Jupiter in Gemini, is like jelly right now, not as Saturn in the sign of Pisces, which dissolves the reality of Saturn, right? So it's not the typical everything is solid type of reality. This is where not only is it full of glitches, but you're doing stuff which you really shouldn't be doing. In a sense of, I shouldn't have this skill, I shouldn't know this, I shouldn't manifest this, and still it's coming, and many times it's truly on a silver plate. Things are happening which usually don't really happen, but that's Saturn in Pisces. So we need to grip on something. We need to be able to navigate through this myriad of, I don't know how, where we literally see it, feel it, live it, that something is forming out of chaos before, sorry, before our very eyes. Well, geopolitically, certainly. Financially, economically, in so very many ways, again, certainly. And within our own value systems and what we love and what love means to us, and love, just love in general, that as well. However, and again, I have to share something with you. But this one is, I do believe, very relevant. And I think it's not only me, but everyone who works with people starts seeing this in a very, highlighted manner. When you're a student and you're reading a textbook and that sentence or that key phrase really needs the highlighting marker on it. So this is how obvious it's becoming to all of us. People don't really need us for our expertise anymore. This is where, let's say, a psychologist, the client already comes with the encyclopedia to the it's not the knowledge that they seek anymore. It is the cuddle, hug, mommy, daddy, best friend, or they're the human being immersed in their life story and you're the ghost, the lady of the night from Shakespeare or whatever, you are some mythical, quasi semi real, but sufficiently not real where they can really give their heart's true content or the mind or whatever they need to share. So they need that. Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, but this is Leo energy. The opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo. Mars retrograde started in Leo. So it's telling us that the heart has needs and aches. This is where what your mind is telling you will not matter anymore. Your heart will throw a temper tantrum and will demand that you give it what it wants, the hug, the whatever it wants. So this is where many of us, many listeners of my channel, find ourselves in certain roles that we never even imagined that we signed up for, like parenting, where you're not working with children, and yet the souls of the adults return to innocence to such a degree that you're thinking about, well, astrologers in general. I don't even wanna say me. I just, in this case, I want to be just a grain of sand in the vastity of the ocean. But astrology kind of predicted this. But shouldn't this come online in a few, at least, I don't know, 5, 6 years? Because Pluto needs to get its full body into Aquarius, not just his toe. But if his toe is doing this, then what's ahead of us? What's ahead of healers? What's ahead of counselors? What's ahead of parents? Any parent? What's ahead? Because we're in trouble. Pluto is, and this is where, again, pardon my horoscope, but this is what I should be saying, really, not the aspects. Let's prepare ourselves. So the future, Pluto in Aquarius is the sign of the future, the sign of astrology, the sign of where conditions are given, hence you're an intelligent being, you know what to expect. And chances are your expectations are mathematically that spot on, because that's the gift of humankind, that they are able to kind of calculate their own path, right? Trial and error, stuff like that. This is also specific to nature. So what I'm saying with this is that it's really telling us the future. It's telling us what to expect. that there is going to be massive heart deficit because there is already there. It's here. So when aspects are permissive, if you, to any listener of my channel, because you're either some role out there, which means you automatically, you haven't signed up for this, but it's still happening to you. Souls are meeting you, getting into your life for your warmth, really. Call that help or call that whatever. Your word, your counsel, your intelligence, your know how, your skills, your whatever. Either as parent or I don't even need to tell you the list. Any Libra quality or Cancer quality or any sign quality you want. But it's happening. So when we ourselves get food, and by food I mean the love that we will need to share very soon in a big quantity, well, we better drink and eat up, or else what are we gonna share? Because those who are toddlers right now in a few years, they won't be children, let's be honest. They will be miniature mental spheres of an adult, but with the heart of a, yeah, heart of a little being, a very not experienced emotionally being, but the mind of a stronger than your own. Would you be the parent or any family member or any connection to family member? So those children in a few years will be what they are meant to be, right? But they cannot dish the love to the table because that part is not quantum. The love is where it needs to grow like a seed, like life, like anything. So we better drink up. And I say this to, okay, and everyone of most of my listeners will tell me what I say to myself right now. Where is the food? Where's the canteen? Where's the buffet? Where is it? Where from? I don't know, but would it show up in your life? Oh, better eat and drink because you will need to share it very, very soon. Um, Taurus. Well, the bull, the bovine, right? Which is a sacred hathor, right? The sacred animal to many cultures because it gives milk, the source of life. It allows even its non-offsprings to the ultimate sacrifice. If that's not love, I don't know what it is. And all of us are going to be in the position of the sacred cow. Okay, that might also, symbolically speaking, slaughter, like truly giving your heart and soul to your child or something, someone, not something, someone who you really love in a sense of energy or whatever, inconveniencing your life or something, not in a psychotic way, of course, or neither in the doom and gloom way that is happening right now as we speak, where in some parts of the world, family members literally give their life, literally for each other. Let's not speak about this expression of the energy where it will happen symbolically to all of us, right? Because we will need each other more than ever. Pluto is telling us this very clearly. So we better start this year with this in mind. And let me tell you the aspect, what I'm speaking about. All of this waste of time for just one aspect. However, this is the distilled essence of all of the year-end horoscope. Love must be on the table, because if not, it's bad news. If it is on the table, it's good news. So we must really start dishing it out. We must really, really step up in love big time. We must step up in love so big time that we don't realize that this is not going to be just a philosophy. This is going to be real. As if like a famine would occur, just that's love. There are people who are very, very wealthy in their hearts. If a famine comes, put that together, right? Neptune at 27 degrees holds a square of Pisces. So Pisces, the collective unconscious, but also the collective feeling, the emotion that's undefined yet, or the emotion, all emotions that wash into one, Neptune, and the spirit, but the spirit we ooze out, not the spirit that's poured into us. The glyph of Pisces, the two fish, distancing themselves from one heaven and earth. That which is spirit comes from spirit, and that which returns to spirit. The midpoint of that is our lives and our emotions and our own individual, hence collective as well, unconscious is. All that is unconscious. So Neptune in our lifetimes for the last months in Pisces. It will never return in our lifetimes here again. And the square, Mercury, just only now in a realistic sense, covering new ground, new territory, wrapped up its retrograde theme, truly mobilizing itself, conjunct the galactic center, the very essence of all that is information, physical or otherwise. So the galactic center holds our informational reality together. It is the source of all the demiurge. If the demiurge would have to be a physical thing, it would be the galactic center, the ultra-massive black hole at the center of our Milky Way, named Sagittarius A star. So this is a 27 degree of Sagittarius. Mercury, the planet of the mind, is on it. This means divine download, but wow, this is beyond 5G. This is, I don't know, 11G, right? This is where give up sanity for a few. A Monday, on the 6th of January 2025, we're all in the twilight zone or experiencing the outer limits, all of us. Popcorn and record it however you can. But it squares Neptune, so it's not all fun and games and smiles. This is very, very bittersweet because, reality checks. Mercury in square to Neptune has no chance. Neptune washes it away with like, I don't know, with the tiniest effort. Mercury, on top of activating the galactic center, Now Neptune is washed away with the same ease because it's not water anymore. Neptune's boiled a little bit, irradiated. You know, when we program water with our emotions, Neptune receives that from the demiurge, from the galactic center, hence our own unconscious and collective unconscious. The spirit that we ooze out receives a reality check where it says, no, understand this in the sense of the glyph of Pisces. The spirit that wants to enter reality taps the spirit that exits reality back into the ether on its shoulder and says, well, dude, you shouldn't be this. Like, how did you become this? Because the divine intent or the information of the galactic center is something totally. Where did you get lost? May what returns back into spirit a dream, a life, a lived experience, a heart, a love story, your own work, your own creation, whatever returns back into spirit, the spirit that comes to take its place, they meet. And the mirror moment, Neptune, Pisces, the water, full moon mirroring on the ocean surface, the reflection. And they have a brief, let's say, communication like, how are you so different? But also the spirit that wants to go back to the infinity will say, how am I? How did I turn up this different when you're not what I thought you would be? And then it won't return anymore. Then it stops in its track and says, I'm not returning like this because I was never ever meant to be living this. Who's to blame? Well, who's to blame? This is why all of us should be sweating a bit right now on a soul level, because we know that when Neptune and Saturn, they don't have to meet in a mathematical, in a conjunction yet. They only need to get to, this is my opinion, but any astrologer's personal opinion counts the same way as mine. I would take 3-degree orb. We're already in it, full on. We're head in the ocean already. Karma. Because that's the moment when the two spirits meet. So what we ooze out is some horrible mutation, Scorpio. The lower octave of Scorpio is mutation when something survive adapts, but it is so. The higher octave of Scorpio, rising above. I adapted wings, I fly away. The beautiful adaptation, the nobility of the new. The lower octave, the horrendousness of the new. Right? How subjective is this? But it should be, because Neptune is that subjective, and Saturn meets it, so it will say its opinion. So if the spirit that we ooze out is something that delights the spirit that enters reality, then then we're smiling, trust me. But when they meet, they throw up on each other. I'm sorry for this. Then then we're crying. Water, Neptune, the flooding on anything on sea, any Saturnian element on sea. And Saturn has a cruel side as well. Has a good side, so rescuing, saving, restoring, but has a horrid side as well, drowning and taking the toll. But also revealing archaeological discoveries that on the bottom of the ocean that will really blow our minds and stuff like that. That's also included, but that's not what I'm speaking about. That was just a side note. What I'm speaking about is we don't want to cry, trust me. So, yeah. In other words, what goes to the other side should have a smile on its face, because if it has tears, or if it was robbed of its life, it's bad news. It's very bad news. Not for them, for us and our children and the next generation. It's bad news. So, but this is very soon. So, as we approach the summer of 2025, this is going to be felt stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So, this is why this needs to be mentioned, because which is the stronger spirit? Well, you can imagine not the spirit which oozes back up in the sky from the earthly plane, but rather the laser beam and the cosmic neutrinos, if you want to give it a physical name, that radiate from the galactic center. That's the information carrier, and it's neutral until it's not. It's neutral until you shock it into not want to being neutral anymore. Don't shock it. Let it be neutral. The observer. Oh, I just passed through it. It's not real, is it? Suffering and pain and horror makes the neutrino not want to be neutral anymore. It makes it just like water. You charge it with what it feels. So, we are experiencing this. The galactic center, in a way, is bullying our minds. Literally, we're losing our minds. May that be in work, in communication, in overwhelm, in time isn't passing the way it usually does. There's weirdness here. Our minds cannot cope. We're having meltdowns or naps, or we are trying to adapt. It's hard. So understand yourself. This is where you don't even expect yourself to be sane. But fortunately, Mercury will enter the sign of Capricorn, and then things will have to really return back down to earth. Reality, business, money, finances, work, career, boss. How do I advance? The taxes are incoming. So yes, and this week. So we also have that part of the week. Don't worry. But before we get there, yeah, we are bombarded by this galactic center. This is when the spirit that we emanate, ooze out, is discipline. By all means. If it's praised and hugged and congratulated, you're gonna be very happy. You're gonna be in bliss. Something nice is gonna definitely happen in your life, where the universe gives you the medal or the congratulations or the smiles. But there's also an reality check. And this is the type of reality check when anything dogmatic that represents the spirit is in big trouble. Because the spirit is both Sagittarius and Pisces, limitless, undefined. You can't contain it. You just can't. You can't give it shape and form. You can't control it. You can't understand it. Studying it is futile, totally. So you can imagine that freedom of the spirit, but in a Saturnian breaking way. It will break Saturn a bit. Because why? The ruler of Pisces contains host Saturn. Its ruler receives a jolt of cosmic energy. Its ruler, don't understand this as Neptune the planet. Understand this as our psyches. And whatever faith is to us receives a bit of a reality check. At the same time, Venus, speaking about Pisces, is conjunct the fixed star Fomalhaut, Archangel Gabriel, ancient wisdom, alchemy, everything the juice of the ancient world. Spirituality, Venus, exalted in Pisces, and Fomalhaut, empowering her. Wisdom, the spirit, faith. Pisces was never more sexy, attractive, beautiful, romantic, healing, unconditional love, compassion, Christ consciousness, Buddha, all of this, loving it, you know what I mean? The love is there. But this can also be drowning. Why? Well, Mars is anoretic, retrograde anoretic in Cancer, fellow voter sign. He is really frustrated because it is opposed by Pluto. So it's the tension is massive. So that's what I mean. When you work with Pisces, anything can be dual and come at the same time, bittersweet and stuff like that. And the nodes of the moon are at 0 degrees of Aries Libra axis. And why is that more special than any 0 degree of other signs? Well, because that is the world stage in the clearest possible fashion. Okay, you might say that isn't 0 Capricorn the peak of all that exists? Yes, but the agitation starts in Aries, and Libra is affected immediately, South Node, right? So there is agitation in the air. It's out there happening for everyone to see on the world stage, collectively, visibly, daylight, and South Node and Libra. Well, how do we react to it? Well, how do we judge it? What is it? Right? Before we even bring Venus to the table, the ruler of Libra, right? The ruler of Libra and Pisces. Well, what is it, first of all? How can I have a feeling when I can't even define it in myself? So, South Node and Libra, we are not living conventional times anymore, not even in a Venusian philosophical way. Then moving on to the 8th of January, this is the moment. Oh, move. This is the moment when Mercury finally enters the sign of Capricorn. So the realism of everything. Now, because Mercury immediately holds a square to the nodes of the moon in Aries Libra axis, well, this is when workload, the reality of the situation at work, the reality of, well, how much we spend, for example, dawns on us. And this is where we're back to the grind. However, back to the grind doesn't mean that the craze is gone. No, we are just forced back into the grind because that's the rational, logical, responsible, Saturnian, the best possible choice type of activity that and inner reaction that we can have to the energies. Especially that Mars in Cancer, it is what it is. That's one of the Mars Cancer type of expressions where, yes, it doesn't like it, but Mars in Cancer can deal with it much better than other Marses. I have Mars in Cancer natally. I have Mars in Cancer natally. It's also 4th house. So trust me, I know what I'm speaking about. frustration, toxicity, passive aggressiveness, insanity. Okay, but still on top of that, it is what it is, can be lived and maximalized. Useful, it can be even useful. You deal with it. So, but being aggressed by Pluto still, and Mars in Cancer is so delicate right now because of borders and family and sharing and values. But this is when I say values, emotional values, in inheritance of values, culture, Cancer, what nurtures us, the honey of the soul, the belonging, and real estate. Uh, well, it's really hot topic, Mars, everywhere in the world. So Mars retrograding back here does not necessarily help the situation on a larger scale, right? But again, I say as a native with Mars and Cancer, let's make the best of what we can. There's utility and usefulness in everything. Swallow your poison, and because it irritates the stomach, but you don't die from your own poison, so it's okay, it's not a problem. um so my guidance here is we must make the best we can every single moment as it goes, live the present, but in a bit of an obsessed way, because we have no other choice. If the present permits you to be scared of the future, that's a luxury. You're not utilizing your time well. Sorry, I'll stop. And then on the 9th, we have Moon and Uranus conjunction. Exactly what I said earlier, that you wake up to the fact suddenly, shockingly, that you don't have time for, but not sure what that is. But you will definitely know. Because in Taurus, this is where the moon loves in Taurus, but when it meets Uranus, it's a jolt of anxiety where I need to rush. Because Taurus natives have a certain gift to where they don't stress until the very last second. But in that very last second, they explode. Literally, it's like a explosion of nerves, and a best friend or a family member or child or partner or any position you are if you're near the Taurus native in that explosion moment, you also get a strong panic attack. So, but I really admire their calm before this. So this is 90% of the time before it gets to this. They're totally, purely, really calm in not a faking way. And I could never ever pull that off, even though I have Venus, North Node, and Lilith in Taurus. So I understand them very, very well. And I like them. For the same thing I dislike them, but that's Gemini for you. And even Pisces ascendant. Um, but this is how we should imagine the Moon Uranus conjunction, including, well, financially, politically, and what is being dished out upon us, basically, from different external factors, like authorities, like anything similar. So we are going to be extremely rebellious. That's not a big secret here. But then finally, let us get to the star of the week, which is the end of the week. And the end of the week is just before a full moon in the sign of Cancer. So Cancer again, the voter. So the first element is that Mars trines Neptune. So this is where after the galactic center, because don't get me wrong, Neptune is still squaring the galactic center, but because the galactic center is not activated by any planet that is a part of our being, it's just a background tone music. It's just a little, elevator music, nothing big. When there's anything on it, then we feel it through the organ, Mercury mind, so strongly. So that's why this is a delicate energy. But Mars trines Neptune. So this is where the flood of the relief from the aggression, symbolically speaking, the galactic center put on Neptune, on our psyches. This trine to Mars is something that mobilizes us, something that comes over us as a feeling. And trine, well, it's ultimately something soothing or positive, or you get what I mean, something nice-ish, in the nice scale, helpful scale. It's water, but then again, so is family, love, spirit, belonging, fighting for something noble and feeling the elation of it. So there's this, a strong empowerment of water. Very, very strong empowerment here. This is where water rules our beings, and in a positive way, because this is compassion. This is the galactic center's lessons being applied by Neptune, a change of tone. This is where the spirit we emanate after the lesson received, well, immediately is more refined, more distilled, more pure, more matching to what it should be from the very beginning. So, long story short, this Mars retrograde is where people are gonna be slapped back into their normal line of destiny. Slapped out of the illusion, slapped out of the modern, slapped out of the internet, Tinder, Grinder, slept out of all of this, slept out of that my tablet, PC, phone can give me real answers in life. No. This is where people are going to be slept out of knowing, knowledge, living in their heads. They have to get real with themselves, sadly. So you can imagine. But the result of that, they become real. What they dish out to the universe, first of all, as dreams, right? Dreams, aspirations, feelings, what I would desire, that starts matching the galactic center's requirements. Then it flows. Then it becomes real. Then reality will reflect back at you. You got my message finally. Let's start doing it. Let's sit down. And the other big energy, the nodes of the moon finally changed signs on the 12th of January. Now they're in Pisces, Virgo. I'm gonna make a special video about this. Actually, I'm just lying probably right now because I just complained that I can't even breathe because I have to give my everything to the personal work, and now yeah, that was a Jupiter and Gemini moment. Too late, you promised. Okay. So I did this again to myself. But this is important because we are really entering the dream. the dream that defines our lives, the dream that defines our future, the dream that is the sacredness within us. So we step up the game, and South Node in Virgo, release discrimination, release our own BS, release our excuses, release the victim, release, letting go, allowing the flood to wash us over, not running anymore, facing what we need to face. So it begins. But there's another positive aspect and a flowy energy in the air. Sun in Capricorn. Again, Capricorn, reality, real, useful. Trine Uranus. At the end of the day, however the Mercury galactic center robbed our dreams, souls, religious beliefs, aspirations, faith, our own inner victim. Now, at the end of the week, before the full moon in Cancer, we are full of spirit, full of emotion, full of power. Even if that's even if tears of release, love is on the table. Presuming that we really choose to be our best selves in 2025. Love is on the table, and it's doing stuff in our lives and in the lives of others and in the world. So thank you everyone for listening. I'm sorry for this horoscope, and I will try to get back with a full moon video and node video, but no promises really though. Thank you. Until next time. Bye for now.